So in this technique, rather than just trying to figure out what theta, how many circles we need to add, we just write down all the solutions. We just write down all the solutions. It should have been upside down because the negative 0.3. Let's look at a small change to this. Let's suppose that we have a cosine of 3 theta is negative 0.3. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to use an inverse trig function to find the reference angle and put it in the appropriate quadrants. And then we're just going to add 360n to indicate all the other circles. So we'll get our reference angle for 3 theta, which is cosine inverse of 0.3, which is still whatever it was before. 72.5 degrees. And it's still going to go in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3 because the cosine is still negative. So my 3 theta is going to be 72.5 in quadrant 2, which was 107.5. But we add full circles. And our other 3 theta was 252.5. And we add full circles. But these 360s have been added to the 3 theta. We haven't done the divide by 3 part yet. So let's go through and divide by 3. 107.5 divided by 3 is 35.8. So our angles theta will be 35.8 degrees. And 360 divided by 3 is 120. And then we do the same thing for 252. Divide that, the 252 by 3 and get 84.2 plus 120 because we have to divide the 360 as well. So notice that we got the plus 120 as the period, but if we look at the original function, which was cosine of 3 theta, the period of cosine of 3 theta is 360 divided by 3, which is 120. So it works out mechanically, and it works out with our understanding of what that 3 theta does to the period of our function. This is one of the things that makes trigonometry a little bit tricky. It can be taught in a sequence, but really we need to think of it as everything is happening at once. This is everything. This is all just stuff happening at once. Okay. It's like games where you take turns in initiative versus games where you write down what your actions were beforehand, because they're all supposed to take place at once. So rather than reacting to things that happened early in the round, you have to decide what you're going to do beforehand. I don't think that's a good system, but and that might be too deep of a cut as far as analogies go. I don't know what kind of games y'all play. How's everybody okay? All right. So that's solving trigonometric equations. It's about finding all the solutions. Think about the different layers of things that we had to add. Inverse trig functions to find the reference angle, sine plus or minus to put it in the appropriate quadrant. Make sure you get all the solutions that are being requested by adding multiples of the period. All right. Also, on top of that, think about our overall strategy of solving equations by doing inverse operations in reverse order. That encourages us to be able to read what the expressions are telling us. So I think too often we think of math class as a bunch of skills that we have to acquire for no reason at all. But really what we're trying to do is learn how to read this very specific, very precise written language. How's everybody okay? It really looks so very sad. But no one's going to ask questions now because I've set up the expectation that I can't go past 2:30. I run out of gas at 2:30. But I got to tell you, I've had so much coffee and meth today, I can keep going forever. I'm just kidding. It's just coffee. And even though it was a lot of coffee, I still don't want to go any further. So that's going to do it for today. I'll see you all on Thursday. Everybody have a good couple of days, and thanks for playing.